Hey, folks. Hope everybody's doing well today. Today, our destination is Brook Trout Heaven. That's right. Otherwise known as the great state of Maine. And joining me is Greg LaBonte, expert on Maine fisheries and founder and owner of Maine Fly Guys, which is a really fascinating company. They're all about conservation and education, but they also sell affordable, really affordable fly fishing gear. So if you're like, man, this sport's too expensive, you ought to talk to Greg. He'll die you in. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate it.
You bet. You bet. So I've done several shows on Maine already. I did one on the Maine North Woods and also one on the West Branch of the Penobscot River on landlocked salmon. But this time, we're actually going to focus on the Rangeley Lake area, which is home of some of the best brook trout fishing in the world. Now, Maine is loaded with brook trout habitat. So, Greg, I looked this up. The internet says 20,000 miles of trout streams. When you throw in 360 odd miles of salmon rivers, I don't know. What do you think? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it sounds about right. I guess if you live here long enough and you're like, if you're really into fishing, pretty much every ditch has brook trout.
Yeah.
Even the
right?
ones where you're like, there's no way there could be a brook trout in there. Even like downtown Portland, there's little brook trout. They're not, you probably don't want to catch them. They're not super big, but there's
there.
There's little brook trout right behind the main mall.
Is that right?
Every single,
gosh.
pretty much every single river that has the habitat for them, anything that connects to the ocean, anything that stays cold for a reasonable amount of time throughout the year, a lot of them have brook trout.
Brook trout. See, folks, it's heaven. 6,000 lakes, or I think you guys call them ponds. Rangeley, from what I read, Greg, it's known for those lakes, but also for some really iconic rivers like the Rapid River, the Kennebago, and the Magalloway, which are all renowned brook trout and landlocked salmon fisheries. Is that right?
Yep, they are. They're definitely the big three, I guess you would call them. Brook trout are obviously everyone's destination for those big three. It's not really a secret. If you Google brook trout in Maine, those three rivers pop up.
Do they? Okay.
The salmon there are sort of a newish thing. They're not native to that water body.
Huh.
They've done very well there. But I would say the purists are actually very anti-salmon there. Yeah, because they directly compete with the brook trout. And a lot of guys think, including myself, that those salmon, while they're really cool to catch and they get very big and they're, high flyers and jumping and they're awesome, but they don't belong in there and they're definitely competing with the brook trout. They've definitely hurt the brook trout.
Do they eat brook trout?
No, but they're foraging for the same smelts.
Yeah.
They're sort of in the same niche. They're utilizing similar resources. They have different life histories. And they kind of occupy different locations of the river or of the lake, but they're still competing. It's a top predator. That's biomass you need to feed. And so our state government put them there a while ago. And, it's a slippery slope. I think everyone sees it now as just brook trout and salmon exist there. But long ago, it was just brook trout and Arctic char. And now there are
Arctic char.
Yeah.
Really?
And now
where are they?
Yeah, they're Arctic char.
Yeah.
They're really closely related to brook trout. They're in the char family, just like brook trout. Brook trout they're really called brook char. Lake trout, which are really called lake char, brook char, and Arctic char. They're all in the same family, Salvelinus. So in the same genus. They're very closely related. And Rangeley used to have a really prolific Arctic char population. Not anymore though. And so
are they all gone? Or are there some left? They're all gone.
I'm sure they're, a small population here and there, but for the most part, they're gone.
Maybe that's what they should have stuck back in these rivers. Some Arctic
char.
char.
Arctic char are super sensitive, super finicky. So if you're talking like fish biology, Arctic char are super hard. They need the clearest, coldest water.
Yeah.
When they were evolving, brook trout, lake trout, and Arctic char, they all evolved in glacial runoff. And so some of them sort of evolved in really pristine conditions. We're talking extremely cold water, and that's the Arctic char. And so that water just doesn't really exist anymore. It's just not really around. There is a few spots, there's a handful of lakes that still have Arctic char in Maine because, we're in their native range. And so we still have, a good handful of lakes that have populations that you can go and fish for, but they're dwindling and they rely on stocking a lot of the times. And Arctic char is very, very difficult. They're very sensitive to environmental changes. They're very sensitive to pH changes, to temperature changes. And well, the world's, they're sort of the canary in the coal mine as far as I'm concerned. Their population keeps moving northward. The southern lakes that had them no longer have them, can't sustain them. And so their habitat keeps shifting northward in my lifetime, which is crazy to think about.
It's quick.
Yeah. So it's very quick. So Rangeley used to have them. Now they don't. Not like they used to.
So it's warmer water, but it's also clarity and clean water problem.
Yeah, for sure. Like turbidity is an issue, pollution, people putting stuff on their lawns, There's lots of issues. They need the most pristine water, and it just
here,
and Rangeley's water compared to the rest of the US is like unbelievable. You know, it's above and beyond what the rest of the United States has to offer. But Arctic char need even more than that. So
Hey, I've read there's thousands of dams in Maine, some 100 plus years old. Is that part of the problem?
No, I don't. I mean, dams are an issue. Obviously, they're not great, but a lot of our fisheries in Rangeley too are reliant on dams because, like the Magalloway, for instance, the Magalloway is reliant on the dam.
It's a tailwater.
Yeah, and the dam is a bottom draw, so it pulls from a lake above, and it pulls from the bottom of that lake, so it provides cold water year round. If it didn't pull from the bottom, that fishery wouldn't exist as it does.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, folks, as you can see, Greg knows his stuff, and it's actually, he's a teaching professor of ecology, right? Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct.
At University of New England. I looked this up. That looks like a really cool school. Couple locations right on the coast. Looks nice.
It's as far as locations are concerned, with colleges, it's like, it's tough to beat. If you like striper fishing or like any saltwater stuff, like it's right on the beach. They have a private beach themselves. Like the campus, it's like unbelievable. Yeah, it's tough to beat for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah,
so
you might have to put up some winters, though, right? You guys got some serious winter up there, don't you?
Not really. I think people hear Maine and they think like feet of snow, but Biddeford is right on the coast. Like UNE is right on the coast. And so they don't really get a lot of snow because it's usually wet. The weather is usually warmer off the coast.
Okay.
Most of the snow is wet and it doesn't really accumulate. You might get like a couple inches in a storm or something, but it really doesn't accumulate like it does inland. Inland is like Rangeley gets pounded. Like
we have a lot of college age people that listen to this show, and folks, there you go. If you're listening, sounds like one to be on your bucket list.
Yeah, I would say if you're into medicine, ecology, something like that, the sciences, STEM, then give University of New England a look. They're excellent, very, very highly rated in like marine biology, medical biology, ecology, those sorts of things. So
ecology, yeah. So there you go. Greg's been fishing his entire life and spent 10 years studying and researching Maine fisheries. On the weekends, he spends his time on Maine Fly Guys, which we're going to talk about a little later in the show. He's also on the board of directors for Maine's largest TU chapter, the Sebago chapter. So kind of a busy guy. Do you have time to fish?
I fish a lot. So.
Do you still? Because you told me you used to fish 200 days a year, but not anymore.
Yeah, I had like my 20s. I fished a lot. Like I had a 10-year streak of fishing 200 days.
What?
So yeah, I fish a lot.
Man.
Now I got a little kid now, so a little two-year-old kid. So I don't fish nearly as much. I would say I probably only fish 100 days now.
Only 100. You got a wife who understands this stuff. It sounds like.
Yeah. Well, she was more understanding before I had the kid.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I think she's a little less.
Is she like, hey, it's your turn to get up in the middle of the
Yeah,
night?
pretty much. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
great.
I just brought earplugs. I couldn't hear her and I couldn't hear the baby.
Yeah, no, she's actually been great. Yeah, she understands for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what's Rangeley like? What like some misconceptions there about Rangeley? I don't know. I think of it as like this far northern city, but I've heard it's really kind of hopping now.
yeah, I would say if you're looking for like isolation for big brook trout, say Rangeley's not it. I mean, everyone, the guides would probably get mad at me for saying that, but it's just not what it
It's
used
not
to be.
isolation. It's good fishing though.
It's okay. I think it's okay.
All right.
I think it's just okay now. When I was 15, it was awesome.
Yeah. Huh.
But like the issue with Rangeley is two things. One, the access is so easy. It's very similar to out west where you're just driving along the river, and just hop in. It's easy access.
Yeah.
So the access is really easy. That's awesome though. Like it's good for accessibility for folks who, can't walk very far.
Mm-hmm.
The older, young kids, it's good for that. But that also leads to heavy use. And Rangeley is only 2.5 hours from Portland. So it's really not that far from lots of things in Maine, lots of people. And so it's known for its great brook trout fishery, and the lakes are very big. So they're kind of hard to fish in a canoe. There are some small lakes around, but, ponds are a little more challenging to fish. So everyone wants to fish the rivers and they're not very long. They're short. And so what has happened, especially during and after COVID, is the amount of fishing pressure on those rivers it's insane. There's just
Is it really? Wow.
Insane.
So like insane, like define insane, like shoulder to shoulder steelhead fishing or
no, not that. That's like those are lunatics. But like it's like in Maine, if you can see somebody within a couple 100 feet of you, that's tight. Like that's
okay.
And because again, the river is not that long. You're only talking about from those three rivers, the Kennebago, the Magalloway, and the Rapid. Those three rivers, you're only talking about a couple miles of river.
Per or total or per river? Total. Why so short? They're short. How come?
That's just how it goes. They're just little connectors between lakes,
Oh, is that right?
So the Kennebago is a little bit longer, but it doesn't stay great. It's very shallow, so it gets very warm. Fish kind of come in and then go. So if you want to catch fish in the Kennebago, everyone goes in the spring and in the fall, and it's a zoo. It's very hard. So there's not that many places to fish, and when there's 20 to 40 people fishing in the area, you can feel it.
That's pretty fun. So. Okay, why spring and fall? I mean, brook trout spawn in the fall, right?
Yeah, fall. That's basically like the mecca for Rangeley. That's when everyone goes is during the fall. I haven't gone in the fall for the past. I mean, you can still catch a huge brook trout there. I mean, there's still 5-pound brook trout, 6-pound brook trout that people dream of and then are beautiful, but they're far and fewer than they used to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot. The fishing is not as good, especially the Magalloway. Since it's cold all year, the Magalloway takes the brunt of the pressure. As the other rivers are not good fishing in like July and August.
With Magalloway, because it's a tailwater, gets cold water. Okay.
So everyone fishes it all year round, and it just gets hammered. And there's not that many spots for fish to stay,
Yeah.
And so you just are catching the same fish over and over and over. And the regulations. It's barbless. You can't use barbs there. It's catch and release. You can't keep fish there. I thought, and many people think, that they should put hoot owl restrictions on it. Our agency, IFNW, has been against it primarily because the fishing in that region is a big economic driver. So they're sort of managing for the town, the good of the township over the fish, I would say. Despite the biologists probably... I know the biologist. I don't know the upper management. Biologists want to do stuff like that, but that's not in the cards when you're talking to the governor, because the governor really runs. Janet Mills is our governor right now. They really run our fisheries department in essence. When a big thing like installing hoot owl regulations or closing down the opportunity to fish is suggested, it goes to our governor, It goes to the head of fisheries, then to the commissioner of IF&W. That's Judy Camuso. And then she would have to bring it to the governor. And so what has happened historically is the governor hears no fishing, bad economics, bad for voting. And so they say, no, we're not here to manage fish. We're here to get votes and make money for the people of Maine, which,
Create
I get.
tourism.
Yeah, I understand. But I see it as a very short-term thought process because the fishing in just the past 10 years of my life has greatly diminished.
Because of the crowds, you think, mostly?
Definitely.
Okay.
And that paired with increased angler pressure, and we've had a really bad stretch of drought. Maine's had a really bad drought problem in the past 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Huh.
So that has hurt the new spawning classes. The other thing is they're not stocked fish. They're just, they're native fish. And so they have bad years, like in the history of fish, like when it's hot or when it's, really, really wet, like these fish do get impacted by the environment. But double that with the increased angling pressure and you get this. You get basically a Rangeley that's still heavily fished, and there are still brook trout to catch. Don't get me wrong. You can still catch plenty of brook trout, but not nearly as many big ones, and they're much, much harder to catch.
Huh. Gotten smarter, huh?
You have to be really technical. Basically,
how do you know? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, basically the way that people catch them is by using mostly, there are the times where you can throw a streamer or something, and get lucky maybe, but most people high stick nymph in the area and are using size 20s to
Really?
Yeah, it's like the San Juan, if you will. That's if you're going to be really successful, that's probably the best way to do it.
That's what you're going to need to do. And just really scope out a certain run and just stay there and hit it. How about Euro? People doing that?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more Euro going on because the rivers are not big. They're medium rivers. Like if you had nothing behind you, you could cast across the river, no problem.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
how's the wading?
The wading is on the Kennebago. It's easy.
Yeah.
The Rapid and the Magalloway are hard. They're hard wading.
What makes it hard?
A lot of deep holes. So if you don't know where you're going, bad day.
Yeah.
There
Float
you go.
the hat.
Yeah. That very slippery, and the rock setup. It's not like a freestone where it's just these pebbles, for miles that you can kind of walk. It's large, jagged rock that is
really
with algae all the time. So
slippery, big jagged rocks, not rounded but jagged.
Yeah, where you can't really get a great footing. You take a step or two into the river, and it's kind of challenging. That's
yeah. What's the scenery like? I've looked at some pictures, but for the people listening, what's the scenery like?
The scenery is, it's beautiful. It's not heavily developed. There's very few developed places.
Yeah.
Beautiful forest, lots of animals, crowd buzzing around. It's beautiful.
Mountains too?
Not so many mountains. There's a few, but they're not towering over.
You don't see them where you're fishing. It's usually just woods around you.
Yeah. Woods.
Huh.
Yeah, woods, the lakes, you can get to spots where you can see the lake, where they dump into the lake or where the lake opens up, and that can be really beautiful. But yeah, it's definitely, it's very untouched. It feels untouched when you're out there,
And what color is the water? Is that kind of coppery color you see up north, or?
No, it's not like the tan. It's not tannin. It's not stained really.
Yeah.
It's fairly clear, I would say. They're fairly
okay.
The Kennebago is very clear. You can get a little tannin, a little staining, but not nearly as much as up north.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's fairly clear.
Are there rapids and runs? You said there's not a lot of cover in there. Were there bends where people were where are the fish holding in a river like that?
Yeah, for the Magalloway and the Rapid, those are heavy pools. You're just looking for pools.
Okay.
You have a quick rapid, really short rapid, just 10 feet long or something, that dumps into this nice big pool where the current sort of slows down. And brook trout don't like the heavy current. They're not friends with the heavy current.
Yeah.
Salmon are. This is why salmon have done so well in these rivers, because there's nice stretches of heavy current. Brook trout are more pool. They're not built for being very super aerodynamic. They're a little more fat.
Yeah.
They're a little more robust.
Shoulders on them. Yeah.
Yeah. So they sit in the pools underneath the rapids, and all of the salmon are up in the rapids. it does make for a more interesting time fishing because you can fish basically the whole river and catch fish rather than just fish the pools. Yeah, at the tail end of runs is where you're going to find your brook trout.
And are the salmon in there all year long, or are they in the lakes mostly?
They're probably in there. Again, it's super temperature dependent. Like the Rapid and the Kennebago, there's no salmon, no brook trout in the summer.
Okay.
Magalloway, there's brook trout there and salmon there all year.
All year.
Because of the cold water, draw from the dam.
Okay.
But yeah, the Rapid is actually facing some pretty. It's a little unnerving. There's a lake down below called Umbagog. That's where all the brook trout go in the summer, and so, or a lot of them do. So in the summer, there's a pretty big smallmouth bass population that exists in that system that are illegal introductions, and they're trying to get rid of them, but it's hard. And so what has happened is in the summertime, the river is just chock full of 4-inch smallmouth bass, like little tiny smallmouth bass, which has obviously been devastating to the region because they'll eat brook trout fry, that might be living.
Yeah,
so yeah,
so
the Rapid is really hard to get to. That's one of the saving graces, I would say, for the Rapid. Yeah, is that
less crowded.
Less crowded for sure. It's super hard to get to. And if you don't know where you're going, you could never find it.
You couldn't even find it. I got a map, doesn't that help?
No, it doesn't.
You can't get from here to there?
No, you literally couldn't find it. You need to have somebody tell you where to go.
Okay. Is it like 2 tracks that like zigzag all over the place, that kind of thing, or what is it?
No, it's just like, unless you're going, there's like a big camp there that you can stay, but the camp is behind a private gate. So you can't drive down. If you stay at the camp, obviously you can find it. It's no problem. But if you're just trying to access it from the bottom, it's split into sort of 2 sections, the upper and the lower section. If you're trying to access the lower section just by yourself, like you or I, and you didn't know where you're going, you could never find it. You just couldn't find it. You'd have no clue what to do.
How about if I drove over a bridge and looked down? I've just found it. No?
Nope. No bridge, no nothing.
No bridge.
A lot of people get lost trying to look for it.
Okay. Well, it looks like I need a helicopter.
Yeah, like you could fly in. Like some people do fly in on the
parachute
boat planes, but usually it's the people that are staying at the camp. There's a camp. There's a dam way up. There's a dam way up.
Oh, there is
at the top. Yeah, and so the upper section you could kind of find it if you just went to the dam, but the lower section, you just can't find it. It's really.
There are no trails that lead you back in there, or there are, but it's hard to follow them.
The lower section, there's nothing. There's one side behind the lock gate you can get to if you know somebody with the key.
Okay.
And then the other side is just really challenging to get down into.
So public access is sounds like there's some private water here.
Yeah, it's not private because everyone can
private
get
water.
Everyone can get to it, but it's just challenging. Whereas the Magalloway, there's parking lots next to the river now.
Yeah.
They just recently made. There was a famous pool called Mailbox Pool on the Magalloway. It's a famous pool. Historically, it's always held huge brook trout. When I was a kid, it held huge brook trout. There was basically somebody lives across the street where you park, and their mailbox was on that side, and the pool was directly.
That's it. That's good enough for a name, huh?
So, and the path was fine. Now they built a parking lot there. It's just a dirt parking lot, but they built a place to.
Gosh.
And so. Historically, you could only fit 2, maybe 3 cars there, and now you can fit 10 to 15. And so that section of river can only really hold comfortably 3 to 6 anglers. That whole side, the whole side of the river can only hold 3 to 6. So,
they started naming pools. That's a river that's getting hit pretty hard.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, every single pool on all 3 of those rivers has a name. Every single one. They all have. And so there's the famous ones are Steep Bank and Kennebago. That one I don't go there because it's just out. So many people fish it. There are huge fish that go through there though in the spring and in the fall. So
wow.
It's like Salmon River in New York.
Is it?
It doesn't matter how hard it gets hit. There are huge fish that go through there. And so in the fall, it's the same story. Huge fish are going through there. So people fish it.
So what's the CFS of these different rivers?
It it's very dependent on the dam owners, which is an issue. But like 250
Okay.
to 1,000, 1,000 being, high, 250 being,
Yeah.
pretty good. The like the rapid, any 250 to 500 is fine. It can get as high as like 1,000, 2,000, 2,500, but they're
Wow.
fairly
Okay.
unfishable at those flows. Kennebago, same story. They're all around
Good
250.
sized river.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
Solid.
yeah, they're
Okay.
they're they're I would say medium sized rivers.
Huh.
You're not like the West Branch of the Penobscot. When that's running at 2,000, it's totally fishable. It's fine. 2,000 on the rapid is like you can't even fish it.
You can't. Huh. Okay. I read on your website, I think this is out of a book you wrote that says Greg has come to determine there are 5 aquatic insects that rule the rivers of Maine in terms of fly fishing. All right. What are those?
They're pretty obvious. The first one is Caddis. Maine is Caddis. That's the number
Huh.
one.
Is
So
that right?
like
Okay.
you're gonna bring bugs to Maine, you should bring Caddis. All stages. Our dry fly fishing here is not great. It's really just not that great. It's very
Yeah.
fleeting. It's very fleeting. We don't have very many spots that have these like prolific hatches.
Hmm.
We have very fleeting hatches, quick. So people don't really dry fly fish here all that much. People do it, but
Yeah.
it's not nearly as successful as it is in other places in the world.
Okay.
A lot of people fish emergers or nymphs. Nymphs, I would say, is the number one.
Like midge pupa nymphs or mayfly nymphs?
Nymphs.
Caddis nymphs. Okay.
It's
Yeah. Sorry.
literally,
Caddis.
you look up
Yeah.
caddis nymphs, it's like they're the most boring nymphs ever. It's just like
Mm.
you could just tie them with green thread and a bead on the front. That's it. That's all you need. Because they don't have
Yeah.
tails. They're
Yeah.
slender. They don't really look like anything. Like it's super, super easy to tie them. So people who are like, I don't know how to tie flies, you could tie a
You
caddis.
could. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like anyone. Anyone could do that.
Yeah.
So caddis are number one. That's hands down, not even close. Number two that I think is not, it's fleeting, but it's super important to have is like mayfly Hendricksons. The Hendricksons are super duper important because when they're hatching, especially in Rangeley, like that's all they're eating. They're just eating mayflies. That is like, so
They're
it's
like,
it's a
ooh,
short time frame. It's usually early spring when they're around.
like April?
Like no, April's pretty cold. It's usually around Memorial Day.
Oh, that late. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's
What
cold.
size
It's
are
cold.
your
It's cold there. Like
yeah.
Rangeley's still cold. So
What size are
things.
your Hendricksons?
Some of them pretty big. Some of them probably like your size, like 8s, 10s.
Really?
Pretty good size. Yeah, they're big.
Wow.
They can be big.
That's a Hendrickson, a size 8.
Yeah, big one. Yeah, yeah, they get big there.
Holy smokes. Okay, I was thinking 14s would be big.
No, yeah. I mean that's more the common. I would say it's like 14s,
Yeah.
12.
Huh.
But there are times when there's like honkin' Hendricksons popping off. And then when that's happening, you're just like, if you don't have a honkin' Hendrickson, you're
You better have a honkin'
done. Yeah, you're gonna have a
Which
long.
what's your favorite honkin' Hendrickson pattern?
I don't know. All my patterns are my own. Like I don't tie any patterns that are other people's because I went through a phase of like very, very nerdy fish nerd phase. It's like that's kind of my life. But like I was taking bugs. I have fly boxes for like particular rivers. I don't have like my dry fly box.
Yeah.
I have a rapid river box, and then I have a Magalloway box. And so the caddis pupa in my rapid river box look a little bit different than the ones in my Magalloway box.
Really? How much, Greg, we'll go off camera for a minute here. I don't want to ask you questions you don't want to answer, but are you willing to talk more about what those patterns look like? Do you sell them
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah. I
website?
don't care. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No,
All right.
no, I don't tell them. No,
Okay.
no. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
you what's the difference between your Rapid River Magalloway caddis?
So we'll do the emerger. That's probably the easiest one. Usually it's a color difference. The majority,
if you flip over a rock or if you kick some dirt and you take a benthic sample, you're looking at like 100 bugs. So let's say you take 100 caddis, and you can kind of piece apart which ones are more popular and which ones are less popular. And then you kind of do that at different months of the year, and you can kind of see how that changes. And then you have sort of a color that rises to the top that, okay, this one is very common the majority of the year. And that's the color you want to imitate. And so on the rapid, it's very bright. The caddis that is most popular on the rapid for the most of the year is very bright. It's not your like dull, it's bright green.
Bright green, okay. Like those, you see those in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
What they call them. Okay.
So you can use, so my caddis nymphs are brighter green. I still have some dull ones, but there's a lot of brighter green ones. My emergers have a lot of bright green in them.
Huh.
Compared to, say, the Magalloway, where those caddis are still green, but it's more of an olivey color. So
interesting.
The patterns don't really change all that much. The only pattern that I have that's super specific is one on the rapid, and it's a Hendrickson emerger.
Huh.
And their Hendricksons are very different than places I've seen before. And so their shucks are very different.
How so?
They're different in color than other. So the shuck color that I use on my Hendrickson emerger for the rapid is very, very different.
What color?
It's like a really pale banana color. Yeah. And so normally they're just clear. So everyone uses white, as like a shuck. Everyone uses white.
Yeah.
And the ones on the rapid are banana color. They're yellow. They have like a yellow tint.
And you've done better with these slight modifications.
Yeah.
So it matters.
The rapid is, I'd say, different than the other two. The Kennebago is very, it's very temporally isolated. Like you don't go there in June, really. You don't go there in July or August.
It's too hot.
Yeah, it's just too hot. There's just no fish there. The rapid is, again, you don't go there in July, but you do go there in June, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but the rapid fish are picky. They can be really picky.
Yeah.
And so I try to do my best to
deliver. They're picky
fish. Yeah.
And what size is your caddis?
What size is the caddis?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes big. Again, 8s, like big.
Wow. Okay.
They're big bugs up there for sure. But most people fish, I would say, a 14 or 16 for caddis for tries. And the nymphs that changes with the season. So like in the beginning of the season, you want to fish basically bigger nymphs, like size like 12s, size for the nymphs, because they haven't hatched yet. Your biggest bugs are around. And so there's lots of big bugs still in the river. And then after they hatch, so after like June, you want to use the little teeny tiny ones, 18s, 20s, stuff like that.
Huh. All right. So we got Caddis, Hendricksons. What's number 3?
BWOs are number 3. Okay. BWOs are like the year round.
Huh.
They're, when fish are focused on Caddis or, Hendricksons and whatever, that's what you need. But you can catch year round on a BWO nymph emerger or dry. You can catch trout year round on it.
Okay.
In every single river in Maine. I would say if I could only have one bug, like one set of patterns for all of Maine, for every single fish in Maine, it would be a BWO.
Not a Caddis, a BWO.
No, I'd pick a BWO.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because like late fall, early spring, late spring, early summer, late summer, midsummer, BWOs hatch year round.
All year.
Yeah.
It's sporadically, not in clouds?
Yeah, totally sporadically. There can be clouds. Like this past spring, I saw crazy BWO. They were just like, in mats on the surface, like so thick. It looked like you could, go and put your hand down on them, and like
really the islands.
Yeah. And in this calm water section, and salmon were just like slurping them down by the bucketful. We ended up just watching them for it was like 20 minutes and then off, and then that was it.
Were your salmon eat all these same things?
Oh yeah. Salmon and
same
brook trout,
bugs.
They'll eat this. They're eating the same bugs. And then, so yeah, BWOs are great. Midges is the next one. like, zebra midges, Manhattan midges, those are also year round. They'd be close second to BWO, like a red or a black midge. Those are just killer here.
What kind?
Like a red or black zebra midge or Manhattan.
Okay.
Those are
straight hooks or curved hooks?
Probably, I don't think it matters.
Doesn't matter.
No, I don't think so. Tiny though, teeny tiny.
What
When
size?
you go into a river and you flip over rock, you'll see how many black flies we have here. If you come and fish in the spring in Maine and in May, let's say, you can always tell when somebody's an out-of-stater because they have a bug net on. And most people who come here from out of state don't understand how bad the black flies are. And so you need to basically prepare or just sort of be a man about it, I guess.
Well, what's wrong with the bug net?
Yeah, see, no, you get tortured up here for that.
If you wear why? You're a pussy?
Kind of, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You're not a Mainer. You're using a bug net. You should suffer instead.
Yes. And so it's mostly this guy
I knew, his name was Robbie. I didn't know him that well, but I ran into him probably about 10 years ago. And we're on the Magalloway, and he's sitting there and he's got some DEET out, 100% DEET. So if you come to Maine, you have to bring 100% DEET. And everyone knows how bad DEET is for your health. Like,
for just touching fly light, it's gonna
it's awful.
Eat it.
Yeah. No, you have to be very careful with it. But you're definitely not supposed to put it on your skin. That's like a no-no. You can't do that.
We're gonna find DEET causes cancer someday, probably.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's not. It's a very well-known carcinogen. You definitely
Is it? Really?
Very, very
DEET.
DEET is so bad.
There you go. That's why we got cancer.
Yeah, it basically breaks down your DNA, essentially. If you look at what it does, what the molecule does, it breaks down your DNA. So it ruins your cell's ability to reproduce, which is obviously not good.
Not good.
So anyway, this guy, Robbie, I said, oh, hey, I said, hey, what's going on? And he's like, boy, the bugs are really bad today. And he squirts a bunch of DEET in his hand, and it's like a puddle in his hand, and he puts it all over his face, and he just starts rubbing it in. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, this guy is gonna have skin cancer when he's like 26. So, and I haven't. Funny thing is, I haven't seen Robbie since. Never seen him since.
It drove him crazy. So what do? You just suffer? You don't put anything on?
I just suffer. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Do you have no CMs?
No, we maybe a little bit, but the black flies are
the black flies.
Like, they're the ones drawing blood. Like, they're taking little chunks out of you. And like the black flies in Rangeley or Western Maine and Northern Maine they're different. They're big, which is why it's good for fish. That's why the zebra midge works really well there, because our black fly larvae are like chunky.
That's big. A midge. A black fly is a midge.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
So yeah,
I think I'd rather be accused of being a puss and wear a head net.
Yeah, that's what most people say. Yeah, but hey, that's why we're just kind of Mainers are definitely they're just built differently. We're just built different, and we think, and I actually think with a bug net you miss a lot visually. Like you tend to miss more. So a lot of people, still wear them and stuff, but you can tell no serious Maine angler wears a bug net. Not one.
That's funny. They're wet wading in tennis shoes?
No. We got our setup, but yeah, bug nets. No.
Okay.
Chance.
All right. We're going to come back to this because this kind of is a little bit about why you started your company, right? Just a little bit. Yeah. So I'm going to come back to that, but let's finish up. You got one more fly to tell us about.
The final one is stonefly. The stonefly, the golden stonefly to be specific. The golden stonefly is that's where it's at. We get a ton of them. It's obviously a cheeseburger. A lot of people use them as a double nymph setup, to get your nymphs deeper.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people use a stonefly type thing.
Okay.
I have my own stonefly pattern. A lot of people use Pat's rubber legs, just basic stuff.
What's yours like?
Mine is special. Mine is a very special one.
Okay. Sounds like it might be a secret.
I published it in a magazine. So
okay, you got to tell us then.
Yeah, it's hard to describe it, I guess, but it's super complex, very, very complex. Utilizes a lot of different pieces, yeah, but the size I think is more important than anything. Mine has 2 gold beads on it, 2 tungsten beads.
Really?
Gold has to be gold. Yeah, it's heavy.
Wow. What
Yeah.
size?
Mostly size 10.
Size 10. Okay. All right. What
Size
time of year do
8,
those?
I use them all year.
Oh, you do. Is there a particular emergence time though when they're available more
July, which
than
is
July?
bad.
Okay.
That's like when they hatch. You might see one here and there, but July is like the big time, like the big go zone. So,
Huh.
but I basically use them as a mechanism to deliver other flies in various locations. I don't,
Yeah.
catching something on it is just bycatch, but it's like a necessary mechanism to fish appropriately in Maine is to have
To
a
get
heavy.
them down.
Yeah. Because our water is moving so fast. Our fish just hunker on the bottom. All of them just hunker right down on the bottom. Like, like most trout do. But, you'll see brown trout and rainbow trout and other streams. They're kind of sitting in a shallow spot, like just kind of flowing with the easy moving current. Brook trout and salmon are not like that. They're like
Bottom.
touching bottom every single run, every single pool. They're
Huh.
just right to the bottom. And so you kind of need to fish in that zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you send us a picture of that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Like I said,
All right.
it's the only reason I don't mind sharing it is because it's so hard to tie
Yeah.
that I'm not super concerned. The only people who are going to tie it effectively are the ones who are
expert fly tiers who have been doing it for, a long
The
time.
Mainers. All
'Cause
right.
when
So
I think
we're going to talk.
I got a YouTube video out of it as well.
Do you? Okay. You'll get a link on that. So, all right. So if these rivers are kind of crowded and the fishing's not as good, where else should we be going in Maine? What else should we be thinking about?
Well, I won't share any honey holes because that's like the whole Mainer thing. Is
That's
like,
fine. I get that.
can't do
Yep.
that. That like the Magalloway, the Rapid, and the Kennebago.
I think they're great places to go to start. If you've never fished for brook trout in Maine, it's a great place to go because you're gonna catch one for sure. You're like guaranteed to catch one. If you don't catch one, you're just not trying. You're just not.
Yeah.
You're just not trying. But you're gonna guaranteed to catch one. The other places are basically north. And it's a huge area. You're talking about millions of acres of forest. Like the northern Maine woods is vast, but the fish are dumber. And I'd say they're just as big, if not bigger. Moosehead is a common destination that people go to. It's definitely
an area. That's an area.
Yeah. Moosehead
Okay.
is the lake. Moosehead is our biggest lake.
Okay.
And so there are many tribs off of Moosehead, and people fish those for brook trout.
Okay.
And so that is a great place as well. Again, it's a little less pressured, but it's further away. So if you're traveling from, southern Maine to Moosehead, it's probably 4 hours or something.
Okay. So this is in the Maine North Woods. So it's like that is literally.
I don't think that Moosehead is actually in the northern Maine woods. I think it's right below. I think it's just below it. I don't think it's actually in it because you don't need to get into the northern Maine woods. You have to go through a checkpoint, and you don't need to go through a checkpoint to get through Moosehead. So it's just below it by not that much, but I would say it's up there.
All right. Do you like the northern Maine woods as a location? Yeah. So you can definitely get some solitude up there, can't you?
Well, yeah. That's what I like. I don't fish for brook trout that much anymore. I used to a lot.
They just don't.
I don't know. They don't intrigue me as much as they used to. For somebody, but I've been, a lot of Mainers don't really. They like we do it. We do it, but we don't really. It's not like
common.
It's
like bluegills in Indiana.
Yeah, right. Like they're everywhere for us. So it's it's something that we like to do, but we'd prefer to find solitude, I think.
Yeah, that's super cool. What else do you like to fish for?
I like to fish for really 3 things. Like if I said I like to, musky is number 1. That's all I care to catch anymore, really. And then pike and stripers. Those 3 are about it. Yeah, the trout game in Maine is super duper challenging. It's extremely challenging for a new angler. And the draw is not necessarily how many fish you're going to catch, but it's usually the places that you end up. That's the draw for Maine trout. Salmon. Like there are great trout, there's great salmon fishing, but the places are some of them are so isolated and so beautiful. Like in Rangeley, you can get on the Rapid is super isolated. It's very beautiful. But once you figure it out, once you figure out how to actually catch these fish, it's the same game day in, day out across the state once you figure it out. It just takes a long time to figure out. And so, yeah, that is something that's kind of why Mainers are, looking for a greater challenge. The real serious guys, we can go and catch brook trout and salmon on the big rivers, as many as we want, all the time. And so that's not
Right.
It's like, what are you doing? You're just hurting the fishery. Like what are you doing it for? You're not keeping them, eating them. You're just going and catching 20 fish a day. So like once a year, I'll go to like maybe the Rapid or something. Maybe like once a year.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, just check it out. I'd rather go more isolated places.
Is there a lot to do?
Pike and musky are like great fisheries we have in Maine that very few people utilize. And so that's
it's
why
good fishing, huh? You can find a lot of them.
It's great fishing. Yeah, I've caught a bunch
musky,
of them. They're huge,
What's your personal best on a musky?
I think it's 42 on the
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you got him? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, oh yeah. In Maine, it's like musky they're still really challenging on the fly,
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in this tailwater, this like blue ribbon trout stream where they live up north. They live in the St. John tributaries and the river itself. And that was historically in like the 70s, 60s, and 50s, like a world destination for brook trout and salmon, native wild brook trout and salmon. Musky got introduced in a lake in Canada by the Canadians that had access to the St. John River. And so musky got in, and once they're there, you can never get them back. So they just decimated the brook trout and salmon population. So for the old timers, I never got to experience the St. John salmon, but the old timers are like, they hate musky because, they got
it for them.
Yeah, they ruined it for them. But for me, I never experienced the brook trout and salmon. So I'm like, I love musky because they're extremely hard to catch, especially on the fly. And so, yeah, so I got this one in a tiny tributary, which made it really special. It's this blue ribbon trout stream. Like it's literally, you're like, there must be brook trout here, or there must be brook trout here. And there's not, there's just huge musky sitting in there. And so I got it. I have this like 6-inch black bait fish, and I was just slowly stripping it. And I remember on the first tug, you strip set, so it's not like a trout set. You don't sort of rig your rod, you strip set. So I strip set and it went back. And so I was like, it must be a rock. I must be on a rock or a huge log. And so I strip set and it was really tight, like when you're stuck on something that can't move.
Right.
And so I'm holding onto my line, and just a split second later, it started to go. And I was like,
okay, got a live one.
Something on, I was like, something is on. So yeah, in musky are usually it's very similar to like, I don't know what, very similar to, what's a quick fleeting high, like heroin, I guess. And so you have basically,
I don't know, but
well, me either, but quick fleeting high heroin, I guess. So it's 10 to 30 seconds of like just craziness, just absolute. And you've been fishing, for so long, sometimes hours, sometimes days. And then they have like one or two good runs in them. And then they sort of just try to do the head shakes and just sort of bull you in.
Really? Okay.
And then they give up. So it's like 30 seconds of.
Really? Huh.
And the equipment you're using is big, you're using 9 weights, like 50-pound bite wire, stuff like that. So you can really, really horse them in.
You took that into this tiny little tributary? You were looking for musky?
Teeny tiny, yeah. Like I would say it smaller than any of those 3 Rangeley rivers. Smaller than the Mag. Well, yeah, tiny. Probably 25 feet across.
Okay. I'm thinking like 6 feet, like brook trout stream. But you're talking.
Tiny, not tiny.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's cool though.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah. So those opportunities exist in the northern Maine woods all over the place.
Now Rangeley's got some really interesting history. Right? I read that the gray ghost streamer was cooked up there by some. Tell me about this lady.
Yeah, Carrie Stevens. Yeah, she's got a lot. Like the gray ghost is the most famous fly, probably.
Yeah,
in terms of like historical lore, if you will. Carrie Stevens made it. The smelt population in Rangeley is very famous. Like, the smelt population in the lakes that run into the rivers, they kind of are the start of
the trout moving into the rivers, they sort of chase these smelt up. And so to imitate the smelt population, Carrie Stevens, who was a famous fly tyer in Rangeley, whipped up all kinds of different concoctions and patterns. And just so happens that she made one that was not only beautiful, like it looks visually pleasing, but it was also incredibly effective at catching these Rangeley fish. And now the gray ghost is used all over the place for trout and salmon.
Yeah,
but its roots are here in Rangeley. So
how about that?
yeah.
What's the story of the Rangeley boat? Do you see those?
Yeah, you do see them. There's a few. When you say Rangeley boat, are you talking about like the boats on the lakes, like
the rowboats? Yeah, I think they look like a canoe, only they're a rowboat, from what I could tell.
It's kind of interesting. You don't see them that much anymore because they're not super great.
Somebody thought they were at some point, but
well, I'm
not
sure
anymore,
when they didn't have other options, like
right?
this,
Yeah,
like a
I need a
grand
rowboat that looks like a canoe.
Yeah. You see them around at like historical locations.
Okay.
But you don't really see them in the water.
They look cool.
Nobody really uses them.
Yeah.
Anymore. Now, I would say the most common boat used in the Rangeley area are like 10-foot aluminum John boats. Those. So what people do, the Rangeley boats now, like in 100 years' time, they'll be talking about these aluminum 10-foot boats.
Can you believe people use these things?
They stash them at lake. And so they'll keep them there forever. So until they rust out, until there's a hole in them or something,
Yeah.
And so you'll go to these small ponds and you'll just see boats, like no cabins, no houses or anything.
But somebody will stash a boat and just leave it there unlocked, and it'll just if it gets stolen, whatever.
The rule is that you basically can use any unlocked boat. Anyone. So
is that like an ethos thing, or is that like actually a rule?
Yeah, it's not a rule, but that's how things go here in Maine.
Okay.
So if you go and your boat is not hooked up, not chained up to a tree or something, it's free to use.
Huh.
So
So the other thing I read about Rangeley is super interesting is back in the late 1800s, it was like the land of the rich and famous for a while.
Yeah, well, that I can't remember but what it was, there was this article written in like the New York paper, and it was some journalist who went to Rangeley and was like, "You got to go here.
It is amazing.
It's amazing for you peasants, you can't get there. For us rich folk, you should go here and see what it's all about."
Because it's way up there. I mean, you're almost to the Canadian border, aren't you?
Oh yeah, super close. Yeah, it's not. For people who aren't from here, you would say it's up there. But for us in Maine, Rangeley is really only central Maine. It's not northern Maine, that's for sure. It's really only central. It's just western, just to the west.
Yeah.
And so, I don't see Rangeley as up there. I see Rangeley as like, just over to the west.
Yeah. Super interesting.
But yeah. So someone wrote an article that gained tremendous traction. You can Google it. I can't remember what the author's name back in the 1800s. And then it became this crazy destination for rich folks to go and see, natural beauty and catch really big fish and hunt. It was very popular for hunting. There's lots of opportunity there. So, it was a happening spot for sure.
Yeah.
And then Rangeley began to develop because of this. And there was like hotels built and things built for these particular tourists that were coming in.
Yeah.
And, that had its moment and money was made and then it passed,
Are the buildings still there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's plenty of like historical buildings there that have, this. Some of them are museums. There's a lot of rich history in the town.
Yeah.
And now Rangeley is, I would say, not having a renaissance. It did have a renaissance and now it's popping again.
Oh, okay.
But not for rich people, for, I would say, common, the middle class.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's a great spot.
Do you see a lot of wildlife, a lot of moose when you're out there?
You definitely see a lot of wildlife. There is a lot of moose up there for sure. Like, moose people think like, how could you not see a moose? They're so big, but they don't just like pop out, they're like tucked in the woods most of the day. And so they really only come out to they have watering holes on the side of the road. And so if you go early morning or late in the evening, like last half hour of sunlight, first half hour of sunlight. And if you just drove around Rangeley, you would see a moose most likely.
Have you had some encounters with them?
I've had a lot of encounters with moose, both fishing.
Oh no.
And driving. Like we actually don't like moose all that much. We don't like them.
They taste good, I hear.
Yeah, they taste great, but it's almost impossible to get a friggin' license to shoot them. I've been putting in my moose permit this will be my 18th year that I've put in.
You have not gotten one?
17th year. And I have not gotten one,
Oh my gosh.
Next year is my year.
Did you hit a moose in your car?
No. So
basically, I'm driving to Rangeley. This was like 10 years ago. And I'm actually going to the rapids. So I'm going up through a town called Upton. And those roads are very straight and very long. And so you can go very fast, especially at night. There's no cops out there. There's no human presence. I'm not really worried about much. But I am worried about deer and moose jumping into the road.
Yeah.
But as a younger lad, I didn't have that fear. I was like,
You're invincible.
Yeah. So I had a 2001 or 2002 Dodge Dakota. That was the truck I was driving.
There you go.
So yeah, great single cab, sport edition, kind of a rough truck. And so I'm flying down this road and I'm going about pretty close to 90, maybe 95, like upwards in that area. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, it was pitch black out. No street lights, there's nothing out there. It's just woods. So I'm flying though, because I want to get to where I'm going, because it takes a while to get into the actual rapid, and I want to be there at first light. And so it's like 3 o'clock, and I'm driving, and moose they have no reflective eye, so you can't see them. Like how deer, they have the reflective eye. Moose don't have. Yeah, so it's a bummer when you see one. Oh, I'm going, and usually I ride in like the middle of the road. It's sort of an old thing a lot of Mainers do to avoid collisions on the side. So you could go either way if you need to move. So like on the dirt roads, you just ride right in the middle of the road, So I'm going, and I see on the right, and it's 50 yards away from me, but I see a moose, an adult moose. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't take a step. Because if it takes a step, I'm done. I'm toast.
I'm doing 95.
I'm doing
It's
90.
a problem.
Literally can't stop. I'm toast. So I move just a smidge to the left, and I'm going 90. And I can't move fast. And so I just move a smidge to the left, and in the left lane, there's a baby moose. And so I'm like, oh my God. And I went right in between them, going 95.
It's up and it's good.
And so I had like all the colors of the rainbow in my pants. I literally just like my pants. I pulled over and I was like, oh my God. And I went oh my God. And so ever since then, I've gone the speed limit. I've gone like 60, no more 95. So
You've slowed down now, huh?
I've slowed down after that.
Man, God have mercy on you, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, no fish is worth dying. So
because a moose, the moose won't win, but you might not either.
Yeah, you're toast. If you hit an adult moose head on, you're gone. You're a goner.
Really?
Yeah, you're a goner. But if you hit a baby, you're probably just in for a rough day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you hit an adult moose gone, you're toast.
We always hear stories of moose, they'll attack people and they'll stomp you to death, that kind of thing. What's the reality?
They're pretty skittish.
Mm-hmm.
Except northern Maine. Northern Maine, they don't care that you're there. Like, we were tromping up this little stream, pulling a canoe, and this mom and calf came out across the river, and she like stopped in the middle. We were probably, 20 yards away from it. And she stopped, looked at us, gave a couple like that.
Yeah. Sniff.
Had the baby cross, and we were like, oh my God. And then she just left. She was like, listen, if you follow me, I will end your life. That was basically the message we got.
The sniff means you might die if you come any closer.
Yeah, the sniff is like, hey, I know you're there. You need to leave me alone.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
So moose they're pretty skittish though for the most part. They don't want to be seen or be heard. But they're definitely a little more comfortable than say a deer. Like deer, as soon
off
as
camera.
deer are gone. As soon as they get a whiff of you, or you're near in the river, off they go. You'll hear like branches breaking in the woods, and you'll be like, "Oh, there's a deer," running away.
There's a deer. All right, off camera just for a second. You said something to me a couple of weeks ago when we talked that moose will charge snowmobiles.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, sure I can. Yeah, like every year there are videos of people on snowmobiles chasing moose,
Chasing them.
Basically, like
Darwin Awards.
Yeah, and every year some moose are just like, okay, I've had enough. And they turn around and they start stomping the snowmobile, and they just beat the crap out of the snowmobile. And then the person is left there stranded in the middle of the Maine woods, and all because they're being stupid. Like if you just let the moose go on its own, it never has an issue.
Chase
But
a
people,
moose?
for some reason want to chase them.
Chase a moose. Okay,
If you're
that's
ever
a
riding
new one.
snowmobiles in Maine, don't chase the moose. Just
Don't chase a moose. You might be tempted, but do not.
let
All
them
right.
go about their day. Like,
Let them go. So tell me about this company and why you started it.
Yeah, so Maine Fly Guys, I started it about 5 years ago. The first thing was that I did all this education and research and everything with fish, but I was not using that education. So it was like I paid like almost $100,000 to get this education, and I wasn't really using it. I was teaching ecology, not really fisheries.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what a waste of $100,000. I could have done
You have
something.
a PhD? What do you have? Master's or PhD?
No, master's, and then research after that. And so
okay. Huh.
So basically,
Wow.
I said I should start a company that utilizes this information. And it really started from Instagram. I was on Instagram and I was just putting up like fish facts, like just like random fish stuff. And a lot of people were like, this is awesome. This is super cool. Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe there's and there's no companies in Maine. There's like very few. And so that do fly fishing. So I was like, I don't know. I saw an opportunity. And so basically, it started out as that. I said, I want to do conservation work and I want to sort of provide education. And I actually thought, and still do, that if the user base is more educated about the fish themselves, then they will in turn feel more intimate with the fish, and in turn again want to take care of the resource. I actually think that the more intimate you are with something, the more likely you are to protect it. And so I always think like your kids, that's your family, you're no more intimate with anything else than those, and those are the things you want to love and protect the most. So I thought, well, why? Like, why do you love your kids? Why do you love and it's because you're so, you see them every day, about them, you're so it's intrinsic. And so I said, boy, if I could educate the public, if they could know what I know about fish, nobody would ever vote against not protecting them.
Yeah.
And so that was my trick. So I went out and started doing that. And then the final pillar of my company was affordability. And so it started out as very simple stuff, fly boxes, stuff like that. But what I saw was, and what I had experienced, I wasn't rich growing up. Like I didn't have that much money. And in college I was poor, like poor. Like I had, $100, $200 in my bank account. Like we're talking poor. And so getting a new fly line was a big deal for me, like a big deal. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have, it was either like, I bought this car when I was 16 for $1,000. Toyota Camry, 1991. Great car.
Not a truck?
No, it was a car. It was a car. Yeah, it was a car. I had to decide, like in college, like, do I want to go home or do I want to spend this money and buy a new fly line? Like, it cost me $50 in gas to go back and forth. Do I want to do that or do I want to buy a new fly line? So I had to make these are like real choices I had to make. So I was like, that I don't understand. I didn't understand how it could cost so much. So I started looking into manufacturing, and I was like appalled. And so I said, F this. I'm not. No Maine kid should ever have to pick between getting gas to go home from college or getting a new fly line. I thought that was ridiculous based off what I had found out from the manufacturing side. So I started getting a whole bunch of stuff: fly lines, leaders, tippet, hooks, fly tying hooks, rods, reels, and they're super cheap.
What do you mean you started getting them?
I started manufacturing them.
Manufacturing them?
Yeah, so I started working with manufacturers like overseas and said, hey, I want 100 fly lines and 5 weights. You know, how can we work this out? Can I design them? Can I tweak them? Yep. And they get there, they were like, yep. So I got a plan in place, and now you can buy like a sink. Like I have a sink tip line that's perfect, and most of my stuff is geared around Maine trout, like the Maine waters, but you know, it's adaptable to New England and beyond. And so, like I have a sink tip, which is great for streamer fishing. It's a 10-foot sink tip. It gets your streamer down, you know, maybe a foot or two, you know, for the lighter sink tip. And those sink tip lines are like $120 now. And mine,
you mean at a regular store?
Yeah. Like if you go to a regular store, it's $120. Like that's a common, like if you spent $120 on a fly line, people would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Which
I have.
like, that's right. Yeah. Like who has it? So you can buy mine for $30.
$30?
Yeah, $30.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, are you making any money on that?
No.
You got to make a little bit to float your boat, right?
I got to make a little bit just to buy more.
Nah.
But no, I don't make. The venture for me is not to make money. The venture for me is to, like, I already have a full-time job, you know. The venture for me is to lower the barrier into the sport.
Wow.
That has been the only thing that I really care about, that and educating people. So lowering the barrier, because Maine is poor. Everyone in Maine is poor. It's not a rich place here. Like it's just not. A lot of people just don't have money, and kids don't have money. Like what kid has money these days? You know, like I don't know any kids. I teach kids. None of them have money. They're all poor. It's like,
we're all poor in college.
You know, yeah. So I like my fly rod is a great fly rod, and my brother is the other in Maine Fly Guys. My brother is the other guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't fly fish. He's just the financial guy. Like he does our taxes. He does all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you know, if we want to make money, we could charge this. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, we both just do it as sort of a hobby. So our fly rod, we wanted to sell for $400 because that's like the blank, the pieces, the quality. It's about a $400 rod. It's a medium fast action. Like it's a good rod. It's definitely not your, you know, it's not what you would consider your high end blank, but it's definitely not the low end. It's right in the middle. It's a $400 rod. And so I sell it for $100.
$100?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's a great rod. I'd say it's compatible with like, you know, a mid-level Orvis, mid-level, you know, Thomas.
Like a Recon?
Yeah. It's probably a little bit better.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a little bit better than a Recon.
What about your...
What ends up happening though is people get super skeptical.
Yeah.
They're like, no way, you know?
Right.
And then, so we have like, you know, I have like a decent base on Instagram. I think we have 15,000 followers or something like that.
I saw that.
And so decent base, like, but they're super loyal. Like the people that use our stuff are heavy repeat customers because everyone's skeptical. Everyone's like, there's no way. There's no way.
Right. Well, like what's it cost to make a fly rod? Because you told me this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So
the
like
fly line.
A fly line?
Yeah, fly line.
Yeah. The rods I don't want to talk about too much, but the fly line I'll talk about as much as I want. It costs like a couple bucks.
Couple bucks to make a fly line. They're selling for 120.
Yeah. But they're paying. So like the reason that these guys are paying so much or asking so much is because they've got a marketing team. They've got their box that it comes in is right. They have like a crazy design. And so they have to pay for packaging.
Yeah.
They have all these different teams that they have to pay for. So their costs are, you're looking for me. I'm the janitor, the CEO, the distribution. Like I do everything. And my packaging, I don't care about my packaging.
It's like Amazon Basics. It's just like a box.
It's just a box with maybe a sticker on it that says, this is
cool.
5 feet line, Maine Fly Guys, got my logo on it. That's it. So
what's a spool of tippet cost to make? What did you find there?
You're talking like cents.
Like 10 cents.
Like, yeah, probably. Maybe less.
And they're selling them for $5. It's just regular. And fluoro's 15.
Yeah. So my fluoro is $9 for 55 yards.
Not 30. 55.
55. Yeah.
Huh.
It's almost twice as much. You get the choice when you make it. This is something they don't tell you. You get the choice, 30 or 55 yards.
Huh.
They say, or sometimes they say 30 or 50 meters. You get the choice. They cost 1 penny more. So it's 1 penny to get the 50 meters instead of the 30.
That's value.
So I don't understand why Tippet isn't sold in 50 meter packages.
Because they want you coming back.
Because it gets out right. So I'm like, I don't care. Mine is $9. And it's 100% fluorocarbon, and it's literally the same. It's made in the same place as all the other fluorocarbon Tippet spools.
Is that right? Japan, right?
Yeah, there's a few. There's Japan, there's China, and then there's Korea. Those are the three hubs over there that make like 90% of the fly.
And you just called these guys up and said, "Hey, I'm this guy in Maine."
Well, it's a little harder than that. I had an in. I had a crazy lucky in. It's like, it turns out it's really hard to get a hold of them. I didn't realize how hard it is, but once you do get a hold of them, then you can talk to all of them. Like, they're all friends. And so it's this like crazy network, but it's hard to get into the network. But yeah, so we're charging things what they're probably still a little low. Like a fly line for $30, $35 is probably a little low.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to try to make money, like actual money, I'd probably sell them for 50.
They can make a little bit there.
Yeah, 50 or 60. Then you could make a little change. But again, I'm like, I don't care.
Anybody can go to your website and buy stuff from you.
Yeah. We just got like new reels in. We just got a bunch of new reels in.
So reels, nets, I saw, hooks.
Yeah, nets are a big one. Boy, we've sold a lot of nets. God.
Yeah, they look like fish pond nets.
Yeah, they are. They're the same.
Really?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Holy
so they're
smokes.
the same. They're just half the price. You know what I mean?
Okay, now the hooks. I've tried hooks, cheaper hooks from all over the place, and they're usually sized weird or they're not sharp. I mean, what do you think on your hooks?
There are super cheap hooks.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the cheap hooks like that suck.
Mm-hmm.
Ours are great. I'd say they're comparable to like Arex. Ours and Arex
really?
Basically the same. Yeah,
dude, that's awesome. And you tie some flies and sell them too, right?
Yeah, I tie. What I started doing was, that's kind of how I grew my following, was through my flies. People tell me I tie great flies, so that's what they say. I won't say that. I don't think they're great, but people tell me that. And so I sold a lot. I was tying like 5,000 flies a year. Like,
what? Wow.
So I was tying a lot. Then the company started to get going, and I said, I don't need the money. I don't want to do it anymore. It's just so time consuming.
Yeah.
So I still do it every now and then for some customers that are, my buddies are loyal, or like, they have kids they want to get a little present for or something. I'll do it for them. Yeah. So I have a YouTube page where I do a lot of flies, and that actually it's pretty good viewership. But yeah, so Maine Fly Guys has been going on. It's been going great. We started 5 years ago, and I have not increased the price on any products.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure you can find one company in the U.S. that has not increased the price before and after COVID. It's insane.
Well, you might get a little busier after this podcast.
I hope so. My goal was to show people that there's an affordable option that's still high quality. Like, it's still
right. So how do you define success in this?
I guess one of the big companies reached out to me, and because I said, hey, look, we're selling the same thing, but for half the price.
Did not like that.
And they didn't like that. And they reached out to me and said, hey, we don't like that. I think that's success.
That's interesting. That's how that's like a metric. I got a phone call. How many phone calls I'm getting from the big guys? And I use the big guys. I mean, I like those companies, but if there's another option.
I still use, like, I have, I pretty much now all my trout stuff is mine.
My tippet, my line, my backing, my reels, my rods, my hooks, everything is mine. And you can look at my Instagram page. I do pretty great. I do just fine with trout.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
No, I do just fine. So again, I think people think too, like the difference between a $400 rod, like kind of ours, like, our style, and a cheap one or an expensive one, like they think that the difference is going to help them in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. Like I've used terrible rods that are really hard to cast.
Yeah.
And if you're really good at casting though, you can overcome a really bad rod. Like,
Yeah.
so now the technology is so crazy in like rod making and reel making. It's so crazy that even the cheaper ones are a million times better than the fly rods
Yeah.
were in the
Right.
90s. And
My gosh.
so
Yeah.
you're like, the worst rod today is better than the best rod in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Right.
why I'm like, people that are buying the expensive ones, you're really just buying the brand, which is fine. Like people do that.
They want that.
That's how it goes.
They're checkbook first people, and
and that's how it goes. I mean, look at Sims. Look at what's happening to Sims. Sims has always been top of the line gear, like, and it's been expensive, right? Like $700 waders. They bought out. Now they're privately owned by some other company, and their stuff is terrible now. Like I have no issue saying that their stuff now is horrible in terms of quality.
Really? Huh?
Oh, terrible. They're like when someone's broke their rod, they shut their rod tip. One of my rods, they shut their rod tip in their car door. All right. They told me that, and Sims or any other big company would be like, "That's too bad." I was like, "All right, I'll just send you another tip. Here you go." You're like, and you get to work with a human. You get to work with a human being. This is why I like supporting small companies. Like, you get to work with a human. You know who you're working with. You can actually physically like look me up. You can talk to me, With Sims, you can't do that anymore. You'll be talking to someone overseas. You'll be talking to a robot, and their customer service is terrible. It's terrible now. It's changed since they got privatized.
It's different.
And their quality is bad. Ask anyone who's bought new Sim stuff. It's just not the same. Something has changed in terms of their quality. So like I'll never pay that much for something like that. It doesn't make any sense.
I struggle with $700 for a wader. I really do. It's just and they never last. I'm sorry, they just don't.
No,
you
they
just
don't.
wear them out. It's not,
especially in Maine. My God, in Maine, waders last you maybe a season, like maybe.
Why?
Because you're walking through the woods. You're walking through like blackberry bushes, alders, like thick stuff. You there's no like, like out west is these like big, easy walking spaces.
Yeah,
that
meadows
does not exist. You're like walking through thick forest in Maine to get to where you need to go. So,
oh my gosh, favorite shore lunch. What do you do when you're out fishing?
Zero.
You just all work, no play, huh? As far as food goes. Tobacco. Will you chew tobacco?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. I chew a little bit. A lot of people don't use nets, but they'll smoke like cigars for the black guys.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Shoreside lunch. Yeah. I almost never. Yeah.
You don't do that. Okay.
Maybe like Power Bar,
Yeah.
But I don't know. And we just don't, it's such rough conditions. Can I tell you something? There is a guide. I'll give a guide a shout out.
Yeah.
Peterson is a guide in Maine. If you just type in Peterson's guide Maine,
fly fishing, right,
he'll pop up. He is one of the best, most notorious guides in Maine. He's an incredible guy, awesome, highly recommend him. Great guy too, like outside of fishing, but super fishy, but great guy. He does these incredible shoreside lunches for his clients.
Really?
Bring pizza oven on the river. Yeah, it's crazy. This guy
is he floating? He's not waiting, is he?
Yeah, so sometimes he's waiting, and he'll bring pizza oven. He'll like it's incredible. It's incredible what he does. So he'll like make a pizza for you, fresh pizza with fresh ingredients. I'd say he's an incredible guy. So he's like very big into cooking as well.
Yeah, I guess that's a new one.
Yeah, Peterson. Yeah, Peterson's guide, I think is what it's called. Peterson.
I'll look him up.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude.
All right. So what about your favorite restaurant up in Rangeley at the end of a day fishing?
Favorite restaurant.
Or watering hole.
Probably Sarges.
Sarges.
Yeah, in Rangeley, it's an awesome spot, incredible spot. There's Moose Alley, which is another place, but it's a little more up tempo. It's a little more up tempo. So
Is it? Okay.
Sarges is like a little more low key, but man, great food, great people, great.
Is it a big foodie town, or are there just tons of these little restaurants and breweries in Rangeley?
Definitely not.
Well, there's not.
No, it's still small. Is
it?
There's only a handful of restaurants.
Huh.
And I don't know if there's any breweries.
Well, they need a brewery. It's like only like 1,000 people that live there, right?
Yeah, if that, I would say.
Huh.
So,
okay. Super.
But it's still really small,
Yeah.
Because it is like, it's out there. It kind of is out there. And enough where there's nothing around, like solely reliant on the tourism. So
yeah.
So there's no, unless you're logging or guiding, but that's it. So
that's what takes you to Rangeley. Man.
Yeah.
Greg, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. And
Great job.
If anyone has any questions or concerns, or they want to reach out and talk about gear or Maine fishing, I give spots away. I'm not a gatekeeper. So
okay.
I don't gatekeep. If you want to know where to go and you message me, feel free. I'll give you that information. I don't like to broadcast it publicly on a podcast or something.
Me neither.
But if someone messages me privately and says, "Hey, I got a kid and I want to take him brook trout fishing," like I'll be like, "Go here, stand on this rock and use this fly."
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are favorite rocks out there. All right.
But yeah, so if anyone has any Maine Fly Guys on Instagram,
that's nice of you.
Can reach out to me,
of you.
And I'll help them out. All
right. Well, listen, wish you extraordinary success in all your adventures to follow. And folks, thank you for listening to another episode of the Destination Angler. We'll be sure to post Greg's contact info on the Destination Angler website, and maybe some of these top flies that maybe you could take a few pictures and send me some of those flies. He's nodding his head. Okay, good. Folks, you can DM me or email me with comments and suggestions at shaig@destinationanglerpodcast.com. If you like the show, do us a favor and tell your buddies. We'd love to spread the news. As always, our music is by your brother's Fountain. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you in soon. Tight lines, everybody.